hopefully at some point in the future that's going to get better.
I think it will. I mean, well, not that it has to. That I think there's more realization, more education around, what things should cost in value systems. I think that for me is the hardest bit towards the general population. That we really need to work on. Actually, like it's not their fault they don't know. It's our job to kind of educate, I think.
Yeah. But also, so where I was working in these smaller hospitality businesses that were expanding, they were growing quickly. I was always in head office roles, right? So did I get involved in any other part of the business? Well, yes, I absolutely did. Because when you've got a small head office team of an expanding business and the head office team is not expanding at the rates that the rest of the business is, it just means that you just pull your sleeves up and you get involved. Otherwise, you kind of fizzle out and probably leave. And so for me, all of that 16 years worth of experience, okay, maybe just with my finance hat on, but actually I was learning ins and outs of ops and like all different areas of business. And so I kind of count that as being able to do this, because actually you think about in COVID where, I'm offered this one first site. How did I feel confident enough to say, yes, let me go ahead and try that. I need to fit it out. Okay, I might be getting a rent deal with the landlord and stuff because of the timing that we were at, but I still needed to spend money, fit it out, learn how to make coffee properly. And that's where assembly come in, They were so great with Thomas over there, and he trained me. So, I'd go on the train down to Brixton and he would train me and I would just make coffee. And you can ask him about this because he's just watching me because I was really nervous about if I'm going to open this place, BloomsYard, I need to make coffee and I need to make it really good.
I think even if you don't make coffee and you employ other people, you're still the leader of the ship, right? And if you can't do it, but then you're wanting this expectation of quality of standard, if you can't do it, it's kind of almost irrelevant, and I think also bringing people along the way with you.
Well, I kind of disagree.
Really?
Because it's not irrelevant if if I needed to be able to make coffee properly because I needed to know how hard it was.
Yeah.
How easy or how hard it was. That perfecting the steaming of the mill, being able to do a little bit of latte art, If I couldn't do that, how was I then expecting my team to do it? And okay, maybe I'd hire somebody in that had all of that experience. But for me at that time, I was only talking my first one site. I didn't know at that point where I was going to get to. And, maybe I thought at that time I'd be working in there all the time. I mean, it's not what I do now. But at the beginning, I was.
Yes.
I like going back in and chucking a shift in, but I don't want to work whole shifts.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'm the same. I mean, look, the nicest times for me now are, maybe, I do a few hours and, feel like I'm part of the team again and that kind of stuff. But life was much simpler, just making coffee and kind of, building your brand and.
Well, yes, if I had nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think, I mean, the harder bits of, running a multi-outlet, multiple layers to the business, is enjoyable in a different way, of course, but it's not the highlights, I would say. Yeah.
We've talked all about BloomsYard so far.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about your business. Tell me.
Well, I never like to talk about myself too much, but yeah.
Well, this is what you're here for.
Well, yeah, the roasting party has been going quite a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 years.
Okay. Fab.
And have been in coffee a very long time, actually.
Before that?
Yeah, in Australia. So even as early, my parents had a hotel when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I would say, even though I did something different, a bit like yourself, before hospitality, it was kind of in the veins, so to speak,
Yeah.
And so it was a natural progression for me to move into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the name then. Is it a party every day? What's happening?
Well, it used to be. I'm not so sure these days.
Where did it come from?
We're kind of a sister business to one in Australia.
Okay.
So my business partner here has a roastery in Australia.
Okay.
It's called the Little Marionette. And Australia's a funny market. As a culture, we don't, we want people to have success, but not too much success, And so there's this kind of like game you have to play in that industry over there. As a roaster and a wholesaler, we had the brand, the Little Marionette, and we felt like, obviously we think we're great roasters and are very proud of our product, but felt like, oh, maybe we'll go and kind of not a joke, but in the roastery, we entered a competition, but we didn't enter it as the roasting party, as the Little Marionette. We then came up with this other name called the Roasting Party. Anyway, we won a particular award with this coffee.
Okay, nice.
Weirdly, we went in the competition with the same coffee as Little Marionette, but obviously won as the Roasting Party. It was exactly the same coffee. Yeah. So, so then it was like, wow,
So it was the same coffee.
Exactly the same coffee, but we won with one brand and not the other. Yeah. So
I think it's the name.
Well, maybe, yeah.
I think the name did it.
Yeah, it did it, yeah. And we'd actually had a few different names before Roasting Party was settled on, actually. So I'm glad we didn't go with those names, actually.
You know what, though? I actually think the name that you choose for a business can be a little bit make or break.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Like when I came up with BloomsYard, like people just said to me that it sounded like they'd heard it before, like it was like well established. And even like today, like 5 years on, people will just say to me like, just love the name. And I think I just wonder. I don't know what else it. I mean, at the beginning, that I just wanted it to begin with a B because it's my initials.
Yeah.
I was like coming up with all these words beginning with B.
I think it's very difficult to get a name. Obviously, we've started different shops, but in particular in Australia, hard to just be under it on one brand. Obviously, when you have shops as well, you want to kind of change them up sometimes.
Yeah.
So we've
see what the customer likes. Go with it.
Yeah, I like that aspect of new names and stuff. I think the big run of when we first started the racing party was going to be called Portmanteau or something, right? And so, I mean, like, that would have taken us in a completely different direction, right? You know what I mean? Like, hey, look, I'm glad we stayed with the racing party. Yeah. So going 12 years, started as a wholesale roaster. I mean, a little difficult that we weren't in London, so it was potentially a little bit harder. But we'd actually had some great success with London Coffee Festival in those days and found a really strong customer base from there.
Great.
Which was brilliant, actually. Yeah,
So started with the roasting
as a wholesaler.
Yeah, and then went into shops.
And then done that in reverse in Australia. So we started with shops in Australia.
Yeah. And how many shops in the UK now?
We just have two.
Two shops.
Yeah. So very busy and very successful.
Close together? Or?
No. So I have Moorgate actually around the corner on London Wall. And then I have Sloane Square.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's, like kind of the showroom for us. But I love tiny spaces. Yeah. So, they're not really, they're maybe like 10 square meters. Yeah.
Okay.
And takeaway only, like to have an in and out entrance. Yeah. So we can kind of really judge that flow and So
do you think that, so that's an intentional decision then to be takeaway only?
Yeah.
Because you don't do do you do food?
We do bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's down to location. I think a little bit different in the sense that we're like a roaster.
Yeah.
So we are there to celebrate. Yeah, firstly a roaster.
Gotcha.
So, I'd always tackled with the food element because I think the leveling up of like where we see ourselves as a brand versus the supply you bring in and that kind of stuff is always, an element I find I have to consider.
Yeah.
We do a lot ourselves now, actually, or go with our products, I somewhat, particularly speaking with like customers, like wholesale customers. Yeah. Sometimes like pastry goods are like always just like, oh, I'll make sure I'll have a croissants and things like that. And, I'm always like the first to question, is that actually, can you make that work as a product from someone very good if you were going to be a certain coffee standard, or you might have your own specialist products, like you may make a particular sandwich that you do fantastically well and you're really known for that.
Yeah.
If you're trying to then make something that somebody else is making, your product, like it is hard, I think, and that's also saying from someone who is a roaster that is kind of entrusting other people to do it as well. So like I'm big on identity. I like make it your own. There's nothing like, don't try to replicate what somebody else is doing.
So so that thing that is just is that the coffee, or is there a specific roast or?
Yeah. So like we do things quite differently. We have a black and a white program. So we have like our blends. We push really for like white milk-based drinks, basically, and a dialing in process of double ristretto. So on the surface, that is probably under extracted, but it's for us the balance of milk and that coffee product that we think make it really good. And then we use kind of single origins in a more traditional vein. So we have two different programs we're kind of running at the same time, which is the ultimate. And we hope all of our customers kind of move to that. There's also constraints. Not everyone can have a second roast, second grinder. And so we have middle grounds on different blends. So we carry more blends than other roasters would.
Okay.
So we have 7-8 blends that we carry. And then we have a bunch of singles that change monthly, actually. But yeah, so we want to do that. I'm big on trying to get people who come to our store or any store that they change their coffee of choice. They don't always go, oh, I want to
try something new, right? Yeah.
And I love this about, I was saying it in the earlier podcast, I love this about New York and New York buyers, right? Our customers is that, they'll start with one small milk-based drink, maybe move to a filter and then leave with a cold brew or vice versa, start like that.
Yeah.
And so there's diversity of choice there. And
because everyone can get in that habit, can't they? It's just like, this is my drink and this is what I'm going in for every time. And that, like, I say that a lot about, maybe some of my competitors around where some of my shops might be, because one of my sites is on a big square. There's some big companies with their offices there. And when we moved in there, I was in a line of, I won't mention exactly who they are, but there was a big chain and then a big chain coffee shop and then us. And all of those people working on that square just didn't see us. They were like kind of blinkered because they just knew the place that they'd always go to for their sandwich at lunchtime or their coffee in the morning or in the afternoon or whatever. And then, like we were sitting there going, why is no one even looking our way? Like, we've got a big sign on the front, a big frontage actually at that site, but it took a lot for us to. We're here as well. Why don't you give us a try?
Yeah, I really think it takes patience. I think timing of year as well is a big one. Like I find that, and I always try to tell my wholesale customers is that like January is a good time to try and get new customers to come to the shop. And I think September, actually.
Yes.
I think we're very busy April, May, March, April, May.
Yeah.
And then September, October, November.
Yes.
Yeah.
December. To a point.
Yeah. It's like half a month, yeah. So the numbers are skewed, I guess.
Well, ours is a little bit different because we're not just coffee, we're cafe wine.
Yes.
Far. And so December actually is great because all the drinkers come out. Everyone wanting the Christmas catch up or something. We're not restaurants, so we don't do like 3-course sit-down meals or anything like that. But offices will come to us for drinks and canapes. December will keep going that a little bit longer for us because we got the alcohol side of things.
And am I right? They're mostly city-based stores, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have one at the tube station at Watford. And that's because I was living there at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And so it was my place that I walked past, to get on the tube to come into London. And I just saw this unit. And that place was crying out for coffee. It's quite residential.
Yeah.
Nowhere else to go for coffee, basically. And so it used to be a hairdresser's. And that was the BloomsYard. And it's lovely. Yeah. And actually, we just won an award for community impact there with TfL. And it really is a community hub. And I just absolutely, it's the tiniest little shop.
Yeah.
Like one person works there all the time. It's like 122 square feet. But it is such a community hub. And it's everything that I want people to feel about BloomsYard. Okay, you can't sit down in there. There is.
And no wine, I take it.
No, you can't do the alcohol side better. But cute, lovely little site. And, when people come in, the team there, like, just know everybody. And it's a nice place to go to.
Sounds like all of your sites are like your children in a way.
Oh my God, they totally are. Like when somebody says to me, which is your favourite? I was like, I can't say a favourite. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Every single one has a little bit of a different characteristic about them. They all have the same-ish menu, like Watford doesn't have the alcohol and also can't do all the sandwiches and stuff because it's so tiny. Just can't do all the foodie items. So this one where we are now, this is a bit more corporate. I've got one just round the corner at 1FA, one Finsbury Avenue. In that building, there's lots of kind of tech companies and that. It's a bit techier, but one in Islington that's a bit more of the creative customer. And yeah, like the Watford one is the kind of community hub. So they all have a little bit different kind of customer base. And that kind of has molded the character of the site, really. So I like them all. They're all my favourites.
Yeah.
Tell me about your team then. Who do you...
My team,
Yeah,
wow.
like how did...
Yeah. I keep them a secret because then no one can poach them, see?
I know,
Yeah.
this is a problem.
Yeah, they're all awful, yeah. My businesses are never going to succeed because of them, yeah. No.
But who do you have helping you? Who are your like right-hand people? What's the structure?
Yeah, well, because we always have two sides to the business. Most of my staff, I would say 80% of the staff have been with me for, 7 or 8 years.
So nice.
So, I think, look, I'm at a very good point now, I think, as well, in that, they make the same decisions I would and things like that. So, well, I'm definitely not operational on either side at the moment, so very much project driven, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
Where does the roasting party go? Like very visionary, I guess, at the moment. But I can be because I have a great team. So, it's so I have a head of wholesale.
You don't have to say all their names in case of poaching.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. So I have a head of wholesale, rely heavily on my commercial director. And then they run the wholesale.
Yeah.
And then I work a little bit more on the shops as the kind of like lead in. But our shops manager for London was our first employee.
Okay, nice.
In shops.
I love those stories.
Yeah.
Like where somebody in the team has kind of really progressed as your business has grown. That's my favourite.
Yeah. Yeah, he's, dear to my heart. And, like from someone who really couldn't make coffee to someone who's like leading shit and leading it in the direction I would want it to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it does pose another thing. It's like, well, to keep them, I've got to keep pushing forward then, I guess. But that's why I love hospitality too, right? And I think the employees who come to the roasting party, generally in their interview, it's like, look, where you start is not where you're going to finish with us. And that's my commitment to them. And so their commitment is that they move forward and, they may not think that they want to, but then do, and it's for me to allow that to happen. So, yeah.
But that is what you're trying to do, right? As growing the business, you're allowing opportunities for those employees to grow with you, and then that is what makes it a family, right?
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah. It does sound cliche to try and make it a family and that kind of stuff, but it's hurt sometimes when people have left, and for sure. And
I know what that feels like that's pain. And like the turnover of staff in hospitality, like it's so tough. We spend so much time like investing in them, like training them, showing them the BloomsYard way and all of that. And then when they decide to leave, it's really tansy.
Yeah, and it is very difficult and often short-sighted. Grass isn't always greener, and then they realise that too late. Actually, they have to make those mistakes too, right? And but for me, I started as barista really, and progressed to having company on the other side of the world, right? So, I want people to understand that there are those opportunities they can keep their head down.
Yeah. I don't do all of the interviews now, but maybe just for the senior management team, we did an interview yesterday and said to the candidate, like, as long as you show the commitment to us as a brand, as a business, and then you're going to stay for as long as you want, really. As long as people can be committed and committed to doing a good job, to staying with us, to, being part of our story, who knows where you'll get to, because we are a brand that's growing. Okay, we did the 6 sites very quickly early on, but, that's not the end. And you can really mold your role in a business that's growing, because if you suddenly say, right, well, I've been doing coffee for this long, or I've been in a management role, or, I want to, now I want to go into marketing or something, there's probably going to be space at some point.
Yeah, of course. It's better that they don't know, and you can kind of push them in the way that you want them to be, rather than, I often think actually no experience is better sometimes, right? If they have personality, then we can do the rest, right? Yeah.
Give me a warm smile.
Your personality is everything, for sure, in hospitality. And I think we need to really drum that home, actually. Hospitality means being hospitable, and it's your job to be merry and happy and eager to like know your customer base.
Yeah.
When you come to work, it's not just about the skill aspect of what you're performing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely true with us as well. Like, it's fantastic if you can make coffee well.
Yes.
But that's not the end of what we need.
Mm.
You know, we need that personality. We need that warm welcome that we talked about. And, you know, and you've got to want to be there, you know?
Yeah, and also like the ability to work with others as well, right? Like often, you know, you have some really moany, dream people who go into hospitality. I'm like, this is the wrong industry for you, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, if you can't get on with the team, then you become this toxic. Bring some other people, and I think...
Yeah. But also our jobs is also to be able to spot that very early on. And that's a skill, I think, that, you know, has developed in me, definitely. And, you know, knowing when that person isn't quite right for the business and how to then deal with that.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean they're not right for other businesses, actually, as well. Like, I've seen other people, like, yeah, really thrive in different situations. So, you know, it's for as much for them to get right as for us to get right as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So what are the plans?
We did that quick growth, and then I was like, right, let's just be calm now, because it was, you know, that first 3 years was absolutely crazy. And I was fully into it all day long and couldn't think about anything else, actually. And then it was kind of like, well, now we need to settle down, get some of those key things right. And that's where I've kind of stepped away from the day-to-day. Got my ops manager in place. So kind of everybody reports into her, which allowed me the brain space and the breathing space to be able to think about what are these things that we need to get.
How was that time, by the way? That transition?
Actually, easier.
Yeah.
Easier than you might.
I found it incredibly difficult.
Did you? Well, the thing is,
I felt like I was cheating my work life. Yeah.
Well, I wanted it. So I was like, I don't want it. I don't want all the text messages about I'm late and I'm late, and you know, so I wanted it. But what made it easier was that I promoted from within. So it was somebody that had already been in my business probably at that point 2 years, in a, you know, I'd only been there 3 years, probably 3.5 at that time, I think. And so, you know, she had joined us as GM, then she became multi-site GM, and then she was promoted to ops manager. And so in that time, I was able to know.
What's her number?
I could, you know, work well with her. She had the same vision as me, you know, about what BloomsYard is, what it needs to be, how we need to run it. And that, you know, mainly in that kind of transitional, that I could trust her. And so if I'm going to hand that over to somebody, I need to be able to trust them fully.
But also allow them to make mistakes. I think it was the hard one for me, actually. It was like, well, you know, like they make a mistake, how bad's going to be a mistake? But, you know, I think it's really important.
I try to be really calm about mistakes now, because I think, you know, only with experience I can now be calm about it. But, you know, at the beginning, I was probably like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing in the world. Like, how could this happen? But, you know, you have to be understanding that people will make mistakes. I made mistakes. Of course I did. And it's how we then deal with it.
Yeah.
And how they also deal with it. Like, they made a mistake. Okay, have they understood? Have they learned from it? You know, hopefully, let's put something in place that means that that's not going to happen again. And then we all just move on and be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, it's all you can do, right? Can't go back in time, right?
Yeah.
So
now,
so next steps, yeah?
Yeah. So I just need to make a bit of money, you know, because it's difficult right now. And when I have, then I'll open another shop.
Yeah.
But I don't want to rush into anything now. You know, if I only had 1 or 2 shops, like, knowing me, I'd have been like, oh, when's the next one? And that's probably what it was like, you know. And now it's 6. I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not someone that wants 100 shops, because this is my passion project. BloomsYard came out of me working like mad and then having some time to think about what do I really want to do. So I don't want to go crazy over it. I just want it to be a lovely place to be in, to visit. It's my creation. And yes, so maybe another shop, another 2. I don't think I'd go to many more than, I don't know, 10 or something.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen? Because you never know what opportunity is going to come your way. And maybe there'll be franchise opportunities that will help the business to grow, but I won't have to do all of that bit, you know?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it takes a toll. I mean, do you think the UK is that place though?
I don't know. I don't have that feeling about having to go abroad. Some people are like, yes, I want to go to New York and I want to go to Dubai, and like with coffee. I don't have that feeling of wanting to do that, but I'm not going to say that that's never going to happen, because it might. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It might be great and it might work. And so that's why I don't ever want to say I'll never go abroad or something. But at this point in time, that's not really on my radar. What about you? You're already abroad.
I'm already abroad. Yeah. You know, from where our locations are and like us as a brand, I think, well, we already have a small roastery in France as well. And that's because we lost quite a bit of stuff through Brexit.
Right.
We were shipping to mainland Europe. And so it was really a partnership that grew from an existing relationship where we were sending coffee, and then so we invested in a small roastery there. I think we'll do stuff in Europe along a similar line, you know, start with like a showroom type shop that we have now.
It sounds great, like a showroom. I need to come and visit now.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. It's a lovely, I mean, Pavilion Road is a really lovely place to be.
Yeah.
So that would be, you know, what we do, and then maybe we grow some wholesale around that. Yeah. We're not really salesy, I would say. I mean, I don't know. Did you even know the roasting body before this? This is putting you on it. This is great.
I may have.
How dare you? How dare you not know my business?
I want to go there. I just told everybody we all need to go and visit the showroom. So we're all coming.
No.
That's it.
Which is interesting, right? You know, like we are, you know, a very busy roaster that not many people know about, you know, and have been doing it a long time, right? So I don't know, is that my fault that we haven't kind of, you know, publicized ourselves that well, or you know? But then I think it's such a big industry that actually that also could happen anyway, right?
But I think as well with that, it's about what you're comfortable with at the time. Like, are you needing to or wanting to like really push your business out there? If you're comfortable with your level of sales in like 2 shops, the wholesale side and like all of that, then that's why you've not done it, because you needed to or wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, it might come after this now, and you might be like, actually, I don't want to do that. Let's go and tell everybody.
I know.
Let's plaster it everywhere.
My dreams of bathing in gold. It's not, you know, no, it's tricky. It's definitely not what I don't want to do. It is about establishing who we are, and I think, I mean, I always get the offer to go to the Middle East as well. So I think maybe that time's gone. So busy over there now.
Yeah. Do you think that time has gone? People are just going there now still. You know, like Watch has just gone over there.
Yeah, look, you know, I think they have a very big, you know, deep pocket to help that happen. And I think that's what you need. But I think, and I've seen it in Australia as well, you know, like I've been through those times where like, you know, you could make a destination place really work, but that's not the case now. You have to kind of pay the rent and be at the busy places. I think maybe London 5 years ago, you could do that. However, I think you need to go where the people are now.
Yeah.
Here. So, I've just seen it in other countries, and Dubai is starting, I would say Abu Dhabi is kind of feeling the same as well. You know, yes, people will pay for like good coffee and stuff like that, but it is very trendy and they have a lot of options, right? You know, so I don't know. I mean, there's also an element of like, you know, being able to be successful here in the UK. So, you know, a bit like yourself.
Making it work.
Yeah. You know, I see all of our wholesale customers as like, you know, my extension of us is we can still keep growing that way.
Great.
Really nice to you, yeah?
And finding out about your business.
I know.
I'm going to visit.
Please, yeah. I mean, it'd be my pleasure to have you down.
Thanks.
You.
Thanks for listening to the London Coffee Festival's Founder Stays On podcast. We hope you enjoyed hearing these incredible stories from the people shaping the future of specialty coffee. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn for more behind-the-scenes content. See you on the next one.